The attic smelled of dust and forgotten promises, the kind that cling to yellowed letters and creaking floorboards like ghosts refusing to fade. Eva's fingers trembled as she pried open the brass clasp on her grandmother's diary, the leather cover cracked from decades of hiding. In the dim light filtering through a single grimy window, the words on the first page hit her like a slap. "My dearest Evelyn, you are sinful, a blight on this family's good name. Loving women will drag you straight to hell." Eva's breath caught, a sob escaping before she could stop it. She was 28, standing in the old Victorian house in Willow Creek, Ohio, where she'd grown up under her grandmother's iron gaze, and now, 3 months after the old woman's funeral, this was her inheritance, a lifetime of judgment etched in ink. But as the tears blurred the page, Eva wondered if hell wasn't already here, in the ache of loving Lily against the world's unyielding tide. She slammed the diary shut, heart pounding like a war drum, and stumbled down the stairs into the empty kitchen. The house, once alive with her grandmother's stern commands and the sizzle of Sunday roasts, now echoed with silence. Eva poured a glass of bourbon from the cabinet, Grandma's secret vice, hidden behind the teacups, and sank into a chair, staring at the faded floral wallpaper that had witnessed so many whispered arguments. How many times had she heard those words? Sinful. Not from Grandma alone, but from the church elders, the neighbors with their pitying glances, even her own reflection on the days she wanted to disappear. It started innocently enough, or so Eva told herself in the quiet hours before dawn. She was 22 when she first met Lily at the county fair in Mansfield, under a sky bruised purple with summer storm clouds. The air hummed with the scent of cotton candy and engine grease from the Ferris wheel, and Eva, fresh out of community college with a nursing certificate and dreams bigger than Willow Creek could hold, was manning a booth for the local clinic. Lily wandered up, her dark hair catching the string lights like a halo, wearing a faded denim jacket over a band tee from some indie group Eva had never heard of. "You look like you could use a break from saving the world," Lily said, her voice low and teasing, green eyes sparkling with mischief. Eva laughed, a sound she hadn't made freely in years, and handed over a flyer for free checkups. They talked for hours, about the monotony of small-town life, the escape of road trips to Cleveland's underground music scene, the way the stars looked brighter when you weren't afraid to chase them. By the end of the night, as rain pattered on the tent roof, Lily's hand brushed Eva's, and something electric ignited, a spark that neither could ignore. But Willow Creek wasn't kind to sparks like that. Grandma, stern, Bible-thumping Margaret Hayes, had raised Eva after her parents' car accident when she was 6. "The Lord tests us, child," she'd say, her voice like gravel over scripture, "and straying from his path brings only sorrow." Eva learned early to bury her feelings deep, to date the boys from church youth group, to smile through the hollow kisses that left her emptier than before. Until Lily. Their first real date was a stolen afternoon in the woods behind the old mill, where the river rushed like it was fleeing the same secrets. Lily spread a blanket under the oaks, unpacked a picnic of strawberries and cheap wine, and pulled Eva close. "Tell me what scares you," Lily whispered, her lips grazing Eva's ear. Eva hesitated, then let it spill. The weight of Grandma's expectations, the fear of being the family disappointment, the dreams of a life where love didn't come with asterisks. Lily listened, her fingers tracing patterns on Eva's arm, and when Eva finished, she kissed her softly, deeply, until the world narrowed to the taste of wine and the warmth of skin against skin. For months, they danced in shadows. Late-night drives to the edge of town, where they'd park under the highway overpass and lose themselves in each other. Lily, a photographer from Dayton who'd come to Willow Creek for a freelance gig on Rust Belt decay, saw beauty in the broken things Eva had always hated. "This place is poetry," she'd say, snapping shots of crumbling barns and wildflower-choked fields. "And you're the best verse." Eva would blush, pull her in for another kiss, their bodies fitting like puzzle pieces long separated. but secrets have a way of fraying at the edges. It was a crisp October evening, leaves crunching underfoot like brittle bones, when Grandma caught them. Eva had snuck Lily into the house after a shift at the clinic, thinking the old woman was asleep. They were in Eva's room, tangled in sheets, laughter muffled against pillows, when the door flew open. Grandma stood there, lamp in hand, her face a mask of thunder. "What in God's name is this abomination?" she bellowed, the words slicing through the air. Eva scrambled up, pulling the blanket like a shield, while Lily froze, eyes wide with terror. "Grandma, it's not." Silence. Margaret's voice cracked like a whip. "You dare bring this filth under my roof? Loving women. It's sinful, Evelyn. A perversion that mocks the natural order. Your parents would roll in their graves." She thrust a finger at Lily. "Get out, you Jezebel, before I call the sheriff." Lily dressed in a blur, casting Eva a heartbroken glance before fleeing into the night. Eva begged, pleaded, but Grandma was unrelenting, quoting Leviticus like bullets from a gun. By morning, Lily was gone, her apartment empty, a note left on the kitchen table. "I love you, but I can't breathe here. Find me when you're free." That was 6 years ago. Eva stayed, chained by guilt and the slow erosion of her spirit. She threw herself into work at the clinic, bandaging wounds she couldn't heal in herself. Dates with men fizzled into polite nothings. The church ladies clucked their tongues, whispering about her unladylike independence. And Grandma? She grew frailer, her sermons sharper, until the cancer came like a thief in the night, stealing her breath but not her bitterness. On her deathbed, she gripped Eva's hand, eyes fever-bright. "Repent, child, before it's too late. This life of yours, it's poison." Now, alone with the diary, Eva felt the poison seep deeper. She opened it again, forcing herself to read on, each entry a dagger. Tales of Eva's childhood willfulness, her unnatural glances at the girls in school, warnings of eternal fire. By page 50, Eva's hands shook so badly she nearly dropped the book. "Why, Grandma? Why couldn't you just let me be?" The bourbon burned going down, but it didn't touch the cold knot in her chest. Outside, Willow Creek slumbered under a blanket of stars, oblivious to the storm raging in one old house. Eva traced the embossed initials on the cover, MH, and wondered what other lies hid within. Little did she know, the real unraveling was just beginning. As dawn crept in, painting the kitchen in pale gold, Eva carried the diary to the back porch, the one overlooking the wild garden Grandma had tended like a fortress against chaos. She sat on the weathered swing, creaking chains a lullaby to her racing thoughts, and dove back in. The early entries were mundane, recipes clipped from the Mansfield News Journal, notes on church potlucks, complaints about the rising cost of flour after the war. But woven through them were glimpses of a woman Eva barely recognized, Margaret Hayes, née O'Malley, born in 1925 to Irish immigrants in Cleveland's steel-shadowed slums. Grandma's voice emerged in fragments, a girlhood crush on the neighbor's daughter, rosy with hair like autumn leaves, dismissed as foolish girl talk. A job at the telephone exchange in the 1940s, where she'd steal glances at the switchboard operator with eyes bluer than Lake Erie. Eva's heart twisted. Was this the root of the rage? A life half-lived, projected onto her granddaughter like a curse? By noon, hunger gnawed, but Eva ignored it, flipping pages with feverish need. The diary spanned 70 years, a tapestry of restraint and quiet fury. In 1952, a marriage to Grandpa Harold, a good Protestant man, steady as the mills, after a whirlwind courtship that read more like surrender than spark. "He kisses like duty," one entry confessed, inked so faintly Eva had to squint. Children followed. Eva's mother, born in 54, then an aunt who died young. Harold's heart attack in 68 left Margaret widowed at 43, raising 2 girls alone in Willow Creek, where she'd moved for the fresh air and God-fearing folk. Eva paused, rubbing her temples. This was the Grandma she knew, stoic, unyielding, the woman who taught her to embroider samplers with verses like "Pride goeth before destruction." But beneath the piety, cracks appeared. In the 1970s, entries about Marian, a librarian from the county branch, late-night coffees that stretched into dawn, hands lingering too long over borrowed books. She sees me, truly sees, but the Lord says no. Then, abruptly, Marian vanished from the pages, replaced by sermons on temptation. Tears pricked Eva's eyes. Was this why? Grandma, wrestling her own demons, lashing out at Eva to silence them? The afternoon sun dipped low, casting long shadows across the porch, when a car crunched gravel in the drive. Eva startled, slamming the diary shut. It was Pastor Ellis, her grandmother's old confidant, his face creased with concern under a thatch of white hair. "Evelyn, dear. Thought I'd check on you. Margaret's passing. It's hit us all hard." Eva forced a smile, tucking the book behind her. "I'm managing, Pastor. Just sorting through things." He nodded, settling beside her with a sigh that carried the weight of too many funerals. They talked of hymns and casseroles from the church ladies, but Eva's mind wandered to Lily, to the life she might have had if she'd run that rainy night. As he left, promising to pray for her burdens, Eva felt a spark of defiance. Burdens? No more. She drove into town, the diary riding shotgun like a reluctant passenger, and stopped at the Mansfield Library, the same one Grandma had frequented. The reference desk was manned by a young woman with Marian's blue eyes, or so Eva imagined. "Do you have archives on local history?" she asked, voice steadier than she felt. Hours blurred in microfiche glow. Articles on the 70s women's lib marches in Cleveland, whispers of a scandal at the library involving improper relations. No names, but dates aligned. Eva's pulse raced. Back home, she pored over the diary anew, cross-referencing entries. There, Marian's full name, Evelyn Hayes, scrawled like a talisman. Evelyn. Eva's middle name, the one Grandma had insisted on. Dusk fell, fireflies winking like conspirators, when the phone rang. Unknown number, Dayton area code. Eva's hand hovered, then answered. "Hello." "Eva? It's Lily." The voice was a ghost made flesh, husky with years unspoken. "I heard about your grandma. I'm so sorry. I've been thinking about you. A lot." Eva's throat tightened. "Lily." "God, where are you?" "Still shooting rust and ruins, but closer now. Columbus. Listen, I know it's been forever, but can we talk? Really talk?" The diary lay open on the table, its secrets spilling like wine. "Yes," Eva whispered.
"Come."
"Please." That night, sleep evaded her. She dreamed of willow trees and river kisses, of Grandma's face softening in the lamplight, whispering not judgment, but understanding. Dawn brought Lily's knock, tentative as a heartbeat. Eva opened the door, and there she was, older, lines etched around those green eyes, but smiling like salvation. They fell into each other's arms, the porch swing bearing witness as lips met in a kiss that tasted of forgiveness and fire. "I never stopped loving you," Lily murmured against her neck. "Nor I you." Eva pulled back, eyes shining. "But there's something you need to see." They sat inside, the diary between them like a bridge over chasms. Eva read aloud, haltingly at first, then with growing strength, the hidden loves, the silent screams. Lily listened, her hand in Eva's, thumb stroking knuckles in silent solidarity. When Eva reached the 1980s entries, Grandpa's ghost haunting the house, Marian's abrupt departure after a town rumor mill churned, Marian's heart attack, alone and shunned, tears flowed freely. "This place breaks us," Lily said softly. "But it doesn't have to." Eva nodded, closing the book for the first time without dread.
"Stay.
Help me finish this." Days blurred into a rhythm of rediscovery. Lily set up her camera in the attic, capturing dust motes and sunbeams, while Eva transcribed entries, piecing together Margaret's mosaic. Letters tucked in the binding revealed more. Postcards from Rosie, postmarked Chicago, hinting at a life unclaimed. I chose duty over desire, one read, and it hollowed me out. One evening, as thunder rumbled distant, they drove to the old mill woods. The river sang the same song, and under the oaks, they made love slow and fierce, reclaiming what time had stolen. Afterward, wrapped in the blanket, Lily traced Eva's scars, literal from a clinic mishap, figurative from years of hiding. "What now?" she asked. Eva gazed at the stars. "We burn it down."
Gently.
"Tell the truth." The church social the next Sunday was a powder keg disguised as punch and pie. Pastor Ellis droned on about family values, eyes flicking to Eva in the back pew, Lily beside her, hand hidden but linked. Whispers rippled. "Who's that with Evelyn?" Heard Margaret left her everything. Must be desperate. Afterward, in the fellowship hall, Eva cornered the pastor. "I found Grandma's diary," she said, voice level. "She wasn't the saint you preached. She loved women too. Hid it her whole life." Ellis paled, sputtering about context, privacy. But Eva pressed on, Lily's presence a quiet anchor. "It's time Willow Creek knew. Not to shame her, but to free us all." Word spread like wildfire. By week's end, the town buzzed. Old-timers reminiscing about that librarian fuss, younger folks Googling queer history on their phones. Eva and Lily hosted a reading at the library, the blue-eyed archivist, now in her 60s, Marion's niece, introducing them with a knowing smile. Eva read select passages, voice trembling but true, the pain, the passion, the quiet rebellion in ink. Not everyone clapped. Cousin Rita stormed out, muttering about hellfire. But others lingered. Mrs. Hargrove, who'd baked Eva's birthday cakes, hugging her tight. "Your grandma was harder on herself than anyone, dear." In the afterglow, Eva and Lily walked home under street lamps, arms linked openly. The Victorian house felt less like a tomb, more like a canvas. They planned, renovate the attic into a studio for Lily's photos, plant wildflowers in the garden to choke out Grandma's rigid roses. But peace is fragile in places like Willow Creek. 2 weeks later, a letter arrived, anonymous, typed on plain stock. "Unnatural. Leave before you corrupt more." Eva's stomach knotted, old fears clawing back. Lily found her in the kitchen, staring at the paper. "We fight or we flee?" "Fight," Eva said, crumpling it. "For her. For us." They reported it to the sheriff, a gruff man who'd played Santa at church plays. He nodded gravely. "Folks round here are set in ways, but times change. I'll look into it." Nights grew tense, shadows lengthening. Lily insisted on walking Eva to shifts, her camera a shield of normalcy. One foggy morning, as Eva unlocked the clinic, a rock shattered the window, "Sinner" scrawled in red paint. Glass crunched underfoot like accusations. Inside, patients waited, faces a mix of sympathy and strain. "Ignore the idiots, Hon," old Mr. Jenkins said, clutching his blood pressure cuff. "Love's love." The vandalism made the Mansfield paper a blip under local disturbances. But it stirred something. A women's group from the college drove down, bearing books on queer icons. Audre Lorde, Sappho. "You're not alone," their leader said, hugging Eva. Lily documented it all, her lens turning pain into power. Through it, their love deepened, roots twisting like vines. Mornings of coffee and kisses, evenings of shared silences over the diary. Eva learned Lily's scars too, disowned by her father at 19 for dating a girl in high school, drifting through cities like a leaf in wind. "You grounded me," Lily confessed one night, rain lashing windows. "Made me believe in homes. And you set me free." Harvest moon rose full, bathing the town in silver, when the threats peaked. A cross burned on the lawn, crude, tires marks fleeing into night. Sheriff knocked at midnight, hat in hand.
"Got a suspect."
"Your cousin Rita's boy. Kids angry about the will, mostly. But it'll stop now." Eva nodded, numb. Lily held her as sobs came, hot and unbidden. Why does truth hurt so much? Because lies were comfortable, Lily whispered. But they're crumbling. The next day, Eva confronted Rita at the diner, the air thick with grease and grudge. It's over, Rita. Grandma loved like I do. The diary proves it. Rita's face crumpled, mascara running. She told me. Said you were possessed. But I saw her, nights, staring at old photos. Crying. They parted not as enemies, but echoes of the same wound. Willow Creek shifted, tectonic. The pastor preached on grace over judgment. The library hosted a queer story hour. Eva and Lily bought rings, simple gold bands, exchanged under the willow tree, vows whispered against the river's roar. Yet the diary's final page waited, unturned. It was Christmas Eve, snow blanketing the world soft, when Eva finally read it. The house glowed with lights Lily had strung, a tree trimmed with ornaments from Grandma's attic, faded glass balls holding memories like breath. She sat by the fire, Lily dozing on the rug, and open to the end. Ink fresh, dated weeks before the end. My Evelyn, if you find this, know I lied to save you from my pain. I loved Rosie, Marion. Women who lit my soul when the world demanded darkness. Called you sinful to drown my shame. But love is God's truest gift, not sin. Live it fiercely, child. The final lie is silence. Break it for us both. Eva's cry woke Lily, who gathered her close as pages trembled. She knew, Eva gasped, all along. In that shattering, healing bloomed. They burned the hateful entries in the hearth, ashes rising like prayers released. Come spring, Eva published excerpts, anonymized, a chapbook titled Whispers from Willow Creek, proceeds to the library's LGBTQ shelf. Letters poured in, stories of hidden kin, thanks from shadows stepping into light. Eva and Lily built a life, unapologetic. A garden wedding under oaks, vows echoing the river. Years on, with a daughter named Margaret, after the woman redeemed, Eva would read the diary's truths to her, teaching that love's only sin is denying it. And in Willow Creek, the willows wept no more, but danced in the wind of truths finally free.